If an insurance discount sounds too easy, you should probably ask one question. What are you actually paying with? Is it money or is it your driving data? Today we're going to break down GEICO's DriveEasy. We're going to cover a couple things. The first thing is what it actually tracks, which is probably the most interesting of all the apps that I've done before. We're going to also cover whether the price is going to go up or down, which we kind of hinted at it could go both ways, so we're going to find that out. And then we're going to read some reviews from actual drivers. So people that are actually using the device, what do they like, what do they don't like, what are third parties saying, all the things you would want to know when you're looking at what data shared, all of the things that you need to know. And then lastly, we're going to do the types of drivers that absolutely should not be using this device. There is a target audience for this, and if you're not a fit, do not add this to your system. A quick asterisk or disclaimer is the DriveEasy app is like every other telematics or driving app that every company has, is each state is very specific to what their rules are. Most of them, I think it's the 47-ish states, are average out to be about the same, but there are a couple outliers. So check with your state, your insurance provider, make sure that if you're working with an agent directly, that you find that information out. If you're not working with an agent and you're shopping around and you're wondering if this is the right fit, I'll put a link in the description below where you can actually get quotes from independent agents who have these devices, but also the ones that can quote you with multiple companies. So it's not just the GEICO. It could be Progressive, Safeco, Liberty Mutual, GEICO, sometimes Travelers, and all of those options available for you. That's going to be down there below if you are looking for new insurance. So what is the GEICO DriveEasy? It's something called a UBI. It's very common, but it's a usage-based insurance, I guess, program or mobile app that you can have on your phone. And you just enroll into it if you're a GEICO customer or you're looking at joining GEICO, and it checks your driving score. This is the newest way and the biggest way to get the biggest or one of the biggest discounts on your car insurance. To be honest with you, it's really a reward system. If GEICO wants to give a discount and everyone says, I'm a good driver, this is the reason or the proof that they can say, yes, they drive in good areas, they don't over accelerate, they don't brake hard, they don't drive at the wrong times that make a higher risk, that are medical claims. All of those pieces are packaged into that score. And if you're a good fit, they're going to say, we 100% agree, you should be getting a better deal because you are a good driver in general. GEICO has three main benefits with this. Is number one, it's automatic tracking your trips. So once the app is installed, it automatically logs your driving trips. You don't have to figure it out. It just does it for you. So it's very uncomplicated, as we could say. Number two, it gives you feedback, which is the reason a lot of these apps are giving discounts, is because it essentially promotes or shows you how to drive better. If you think that you're driving really good, it can give you pointers on how to improve the driving. And then number three, it has accident assist. So this app detects hard braking. In the event that there is a major claim, it possibly could connect to any emergency services in case there's an emergency happening. Those features all sound great, but the bigger piece that most people are asking questions about is what data is being tracked. And GEICO has multiple more things being tracked than any other app I've seen so far. It's a GPS tracking location. That's common. It's going to connect to your phone's GPS. It's going to use your usage, your phone usage. So if you have a really low data plan, which is pretty rare nowadays, it's probably using a few megabytes every month or so. So you're not going to necessarily see a lot of data, but there is data being used. The hard braking is probably one of the more important. They're going to want to know how hard you're braking. If you're following too closely, that's a very common claim for insurance. And they want to know that braking as well as the rapid acceleration. Are you paying attention to the road and you have to speed up real quick because you had to drive fast? The one that I don't necessarily agree with is the cornering. It's going to become a thing with most people in the future, but right now it does track cornering, so how quick you're taking turns, and that's essentially your phone feeling the balance and the shift of how fast it is. So if you have a really low to the ground car like a Corvette or a Mercedes, then you may want to think about some of these other options. We'll dive into it a little bit further. The smoothness of the driving, so if you're driving over a ton of bumpy roads, basically you don't live in Michigan. That's the common, if we had a state sign, it would be road construction. And it's going to also track the time of day that you're driving. Most apps care after midnight, and before 5 a.m. It's not necessarily a lot of people on the road, but that's the times people would fall asleep. That's the times medical claims could happen. You go off the road, you hit a tree, odds are you're going to be injured. So there's a lot more money being paid out on those claims if those are the times of the day that you're driving. In most of these apps, you have to drive at least a certain distance to activate it. So if you're driving only 100 miles every month, it's probably not going to even give you the discount or track it enough to give you the right pricing. But if you're driving 15,000 miles every month and you're really just driving your vehicle for long commutes or business, there's risk. The more you're on the road, the more risk there is. The trip frequency, how often are you driving your car? The ones that drive less are going to get a better deal. The ones that drive more are going to get a worse deal. Now, that doesn't necessarily play as big of a factor as most people think, but it is one of the factors. The routes that you take does also get tracked. So if you're constantly taking different routes in different locations, that could be seen as a negative or a positive. Now, this is where that benefit of having it give you advice is where it's going to tell you these things that say, hey, there is a higher chance that you're going to get an accident because of these routes that you're taking or because of these trips you're taking. So having that data is helpful. And then the weather and the road conditions, it's technically tracked, but it's like a sub piece. It's not really like it's checking the weather and it's not seeing that you're driving in the rain. That's just something that is naturally going to happen anyways because you have the app connected. So Mark, what is it actually tracking though? Physical data being sent from my phone. It's tracking your GPS, it's tracking your Bluetooth, and it's tracking your motion sensors. Those are the actual physical or activities that your phone is connecting and sharing data across to GEICO. Now, the reason they do this is because they want to know your precise location. They want to track that at all times as long as the vehicle's moving. So it's usually turned off until it gets to about a quarter mile into a drive, and then it starts turning itself on because it can detect, hey, we're moving. Then it starts picking up, okay, the speeds, the accelerations, the braking, all of those things. The biggest question that most people are going to ask is, can your premium go up? And with most of these apps, no. With a few of them, GEICO included, yes. It's not just a discount with GEICO. The way that their program works is it's a premium, so it may be adjusted on your driving score. Your drivers pay higher rates. This is something a few of these companies have done, even though it's a rare scenario. In GEICO's, it is a rating. The telematics does say that you technically could be underwritten, which means, in my opinion, you could get canceled if you're a really bad driver. It can rate your policy, so if the policy is bad driving or good, vice versa, it can go both ways. It can go up or down, and then it can also determine your personalized premium. That's where we take that profile. Whenever an agent, like in the description below, if you're shopping, that agent's going to take all your data, your location, your vehicles, the amount of miles you drive, the discounts that you could be connected to. All of those things are piled into a profile, and that profile determines the price that you're paying. That added discount adds on top of it to say, okay, great, we think that they're going to be a good fit for this program. Let's see if we can get them a discount. Again, that could be state-based, especially in New York. I think they say for sure that this could go up in premium because of the score. So just make note that you want to talk to the agent and see if this is the scenario for you. Okay, Mark, if we do well, then what discount can we expect to have? The typical discount you're going to see is anywhere from 5 to 15%. That's going to be the most common. Initially, when you sign up in most of these states, you're going to see about a 15% discount right off the bat. That's the benefit, is when you're signing up for the program, they're saying, hey, we're going to pre-give you this discount because you're saying that you're likely going to be a good driver. And then what people are saying, even though GEICO doesn't specifically give a number, according to the reviews and the third-party research that I've done, they're saying an average of 25% is the discount that you could overall get on your current auto policy. Keep this in mind that if you're talking to the right agent, they know all of the other discounts. Everything's a percentage of sections. And if you're adding the homeowner's discount or renter's discount, and you're adding the multi-car discount, you're adding the safe driver discount, you're adding longevity discounts, you're adding all these things, you're not going to get the 120% off that if you were to add all those up, that it's going to show you. But this is going to be one of the most impactful on the price that you pay. To me, the most important piece is to know what other companies and other people have reviewed the system. So WalletHub, first of all, has given it a 4.2 out of 5 stars. I like that. That means that there is potential and that a lot of people are getting some pretty good deals. So personally, as far as the actual rating, that's good. The common comments that we found online is they have the potential for significant savings, the crash detection is nice, and then the personal driving feedback. You're going to get the feedback on most apps. So whether you go with GEICO or Progressive or Liberty Mutual or one of those other companies, you're probably going to get that feedback either way because it just benefits them to show you the scores that you're getting to help improve them. The negatives that they're seeing is that it's sharing your data. Nobody loves that. Bad driving could get higher premiums, and then nighttime drivers aren't going to benefit as much because of the times that they're driving. Bankrate didn't give it an overall evaluation, but it did say that it was in the positive, which essentially is like the 4 stars out of 5 stars. And again, they're saying that it encouraged the good driving habits, the trip tracking is good, and then the accident features that they have built in is really nice. The negatives that they found were premium increases, again, privacy concerns, which we'll talk about here in just a moment, and then the phone usage during the driving times, it can be negatively impacted on scores. And that's a big question you're going to ask, which we'll cover here in a moment as well. Lastly, for Insurify, they said that it is a positive for safe drivers, but risky for non-safe drivers. And that's the point of the whole program, is if you are a safe driver, you get the discount. If you're not a safe driver, you don't get the discount. Same feedback that we saw in the previous ones. It liked that it gave driving feedback, the smartphone-based tracking, which is kind of everybody now, is just tracked through your phone, and it doesn't have to have a plug-in device or anything like that. And then potential discounts, great. That's the whole point of the system, at least for you as a driver, is to get the best discount. The negatives is the risk of rate increases, which we talked about. The trips may be misclassified is what they said as feedback. So that's something to kind of keep in mind, is watch the app closely if you're going to do it. And then not available nationwide, so that not anyone and everyone can use the app. Again, it's specific to each state. Okay, Mark, that's great. These third parties, they review them, and I half agree that yes, they could be paid companies, and most of them are saying unbiased reviews. What are actual people saying about the software? According to the Better Business Bureau, Reddit posts, we had it look at the App Store reviews. The most common complaints that you're going to see is the app can detect the phone use incorrectly, and that's something that they actually talk about, is that it doesn't know the passenger from the driver. So if you're not in there saying I'm not driving the car, then it doesn't know the difference. So it can be not as precise as it should be, and then the passengers using the phone can trigger penalties. That's one of the things that they're tracking, is, are you touching the phone? Are you a distracted driver? If you hand your phone to your kids, they're going to touch the phone, and the phone's going to be bouncing around. It's going to think you're stopping fast, you're driving fast, you're speeding. It's going to check all those things, and you're touching the phone, watching a video. It's going to freak out. It's going to give you a horrible score. The navigation apps can trigger distracted driving warnings, so that's kind of new. I never actually heard that one with most of them. Hard braking is going to be lowering scores. So if you're in a lot of stop and go traffic, you're going to brake hard. It's just part of the system. So if you're in a city that has a lot of that and you're in a lot of traffic, that might be a negative for you using the system. Trips being logged incorrectly, and then the battery drain. It's going to use your navigation. So if you've ever used your navigation, it does drain the battery quicker than normal. If you're already using your navigation, it's just going to use the same data. If that's the case, then you're fine. But if you don't typically use your navigation, you're going to see a little bit more of a drain on your battery for the time that you're using the device. Based on all of those rules, the real world experiences, should you sign up for it? Is it something that's going to benefit you? Here, let's take a look at the people that should and should consider not using this DriveEasy app. Night shift drivers, probably not a great score. So the discount that you want to have, it's not going to be available. It's just not the timing. Can you get a discount? Sure. You might get that 8 to 10%, and there you go. There's a benefit for you. Same thing for heavy city drivers. If you're stop and go traffic, those factors are going to hurt your score. You're likely going to touch your phone. I can't not touch my phone during the stop and go traffic. Someone texts me. The thing wants you to touch it all the time. The phone constantly has notifications, and it's hard not to look at it. If your phone's like mine, and when you look at it, it automatically unlocks and says, hey, I'm open, and then you go to shut it off, now you're touching the phone, right? So there's those pieces. If you're going to have rideshare drivers, definitely not a fit. The trip frequencies, the driving, the irregular routes that you're taking. If there's multiple drivers in the house where you have teenagers, you can't exclude drivers from it. So anyone that's listed on your policy has to participate. And I personally, as an agency, have seen a lot of headaches with that. Not that it can't be done if you have a really good driving family and everyone installs the app. It's great. I've had people that have had 2 people in the house and one person doesn't install it, they lose half the discount instantly. So not actually having people participate is going to be a huge negative. People that use your phone for navigation, if you don't set it and forget it, you know where you're going, you're stopped, you tell the phone where you're going, you press start, you set it up, you go into drive. That's the navigation that the system wants to see. If you're constantly picking friends up or family up, or you're moving around and you got to do the navigation on the fly, it's not going to like that. It's going to give you a distracted driving credit or score, and it's going to hurt the overall discount that you'll get either way. If you are concerned about privacy, this is sharing data, so that's for someone that wouldn't be a good fit. While GEICO says it does encrypt the data and it stores it securely, and the legal documents state the information could potentially be requested if there's a lawsuit, a police investigation, or if they're subpoenaed, then they can share that data. So essentially, if you have an accident, there's a possibility that the data could be used in some sort of legal proceeding, which I guess could be seen as a negative, but if you're, again, trying to be the safe driver and you're not concerned about that, you're good there. Some other important pieces that you should know is that it is offered in 47 states and Washington, D.C., but not currently in California. It's not in Hawaii, and it's not in Vermont. Website, GEICO says it typically uses about 105 megabytes of data, which is very small. That's not even watching a video for 10 minutes. So you're good on the data part. It also says that your phone plan, if you're under 500 megabytes or less per month, then it's probably not a good fit because it'll eat up that data. And if you're just getting phone calls, you're connecting to some sort of internet or using your phone in other scenarios, they don't want you to have the extra charges on the phone. Final verdict. I'm winded, guys. I just drank an energy drink. I'm trying to get the information out. I'm on the fence on this one. It's very similar to Progressives, I'll be honest with you. I've been babied on the other companies, your Liberty Mutuals, your Nationwides. They don't necessarily track half of these things. And some of the stuff, each company has different scenarios. It's their client that's the best fit. But if you're driving during the day, you got predictable routes, you're not touching your phone consistently or bouncing it around, and you have smooth driving habits and you're not driving a Ferrari, I think I would lean towards it. They do say they don't share the data. Again, like we talked about earlier, they do have the in-house. Eventually your data will be used for marketing and for research purposes, but they don't share your information. So your name's not being used, your car's not being used, your information is being hidden, and then they'll just share the average data. That's honestly something that most of these companies do. Your computer does it. When you start the computer, it's can we track the data and send it randomly or independently to improve our product, and that's what they use it for. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you already have the DriveEasy app, I want to know what your comments are. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Did it hate your driving? Did it hate your braking? Did you get dinged for touching the phone when you weren't touching the phone? Those are some of the pieces we heard. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. If you're in a state that you saw that we're missing something in this video, please comment it below. We'd love to hear it. Let us know the state you're in and the piece that was missing or the discount that you thought was good or bad or whichever independently. We want to know your opinions. Help us understand what your experiences was with this app. Again, if you are shopping for car insurance, I'll put the link in the description below. I do say yes, I do like the DriveEasy app. The thought behind it, you have to be a really good fit for it. If that's not the case, be warned, it may not be a benefit, and you may have to look at other insurance companies if that isn't the right fit. To be honest with you, the most important piece that people are missing isn't this discount, because this discount is amazing. It's probably one of the top 3 discounts that you can get in insurance. The bigger discounts that you can get is going to be in this video here. The bigger, more important piece of insurance is the coverages you carry. If you're new or don't understand the coverages you should be carrying, my Car Insurance 101 is going to go further in detail. I'm Mark with Think Insurance. I'll see you in the next one.